good day! Welcome to our vlog. So this is Theoretical Foundation in Nursing Group 4's vlog. So let me introduce myself first. I am Alven A. Together with Miss PALEN, Miss PAMA, Mr. PARCON, Miss PISAI, Mr. PILAPIL, Miss PUSTA, and lastly, Mr. RUFIN. So in today's vlog, is all about application of theory in nursing education. So without further ado, let's start. So my assigned topic is theoretical issues in nursing curricula. So when we say curriculum, it refers to the content and processes by which learners gain knowledge, understanding, and they develop skills, alter attitudes, appreciation, and values under the auspices of a given school or program. So according to Sullivan 2016, curriculum of a school in nursing typically include philosophy and mission statements, an organizational or conceptual framework, list of outcomes, competencies, and objective of the program. So we have 6 components of a curriculum. First is it is a defined philosophy of mission or mission statement. Second, an organizing framework. The third one is anticipated outcomes, competencies, and or objectives to be achieved. The fourth one is selected content with the specific sequencing of the content. The fifth one is educational activities and experiences to facilitate learning. And the sixth one and the last one as well. So it means means of evaluation. Healthcare delivery system has changed during the 15 years as well as the nursing practice. So requiring it to adapt to transitioning from institution-based acute care to more community-based care with an enhanced focus on caring for adults and individuals. So understanding the importance of cultural differences. So nursing education must adapt to changes and anticipated trends in healthcare and education. Furthermore, nursing leaders and nursing organizations who believe that it is responsibility of nursing education in collaboration with practice settings to shape practice and with not merely respond to changes to the practice environment. So that is according to American Association of Colleges of Nursing. So literature is awash with buzzwords in nursing education. So there's a lot of terms related to nursing education or incorporated to nursing education. So we like problem-based learning, lifelong learning, service learning, evidence-based education, culturally relevant care. In fact, there's a lot more. So theoretical principles, concepts, and models are used in 2 major ways in nursing education. The first one, they are used to determine the content and organization and structure of a program's curriculum. The second one, they are used to determine the instructional processes and strategies used by faculty to teach students as. So I think that's all of my topic. So let's proceed to the next.
Hello, good day everyone. I am ERWIN, and today I'll be discussing about the conceptual frameworks or organizational frameworks for nursing curricula. So a well-developed and articulated theoretical or organizational framework gives a nursing program the perspective that shapes the content and the methods that guide students' learning. So eventually, the content and the methods presented will have an impact on nursing practice. So, theoretical basis provides the foundation that helps nursing students define their professional philosophies and values. So, it identifies and describes essential concepts and significant problems, suggests approaches to structure and methods that the student may use. So, may use in continuing to develop their knowledge. Additionally, the theoretical framework or model for the nursing program can influence the means by which material is presented and the methods by which learning is evaluated. So, Barnum in 1998 wrote that theoretical principles drawn from a number of sources directly affect a curriculum whether faculty members recognize it or not. So, indeed, a nursing curriculum conveys a theory of nursing by virtue of the content selected. So, as mentioned previously, the conceptual or organizational frameworks of a nursing program should be an outgrowth of the philosophy of the faculty, which typically reflects the faculty's philosophical beliefs about the meta-paradigm concepts. So, the interrelationship of this concept is the basic organizational frameworks of the curriculum. So, and as the concepts are further defined within the framework, the curriculum becomes established. Additional concepts and theories selected to comprise the conceptual frameworks are likewise taken from the philosophy. My next topic is about the purposes of the conceptual framework. So, the conceptual or organizational framework for curriculum serves several purposes. First, it allows the faculty to determine what knowledge is important to nursing. So, and how that knowledge should be defined, categorized, and linked with other knowledge. So, it also helps to explain how these ideas or concepts apply to nursing practice. Second, the conceptual framework facilitates the sequencing and prioritizing of knowledge in a way that is logical and internally consistent. Thus, organizing frameworks provide faculty with a blueprint for construction of a cohesive curriculum to give students the essential learning experiences which will allow them to achieve the desired educational outcomes. My next topic is designing a curriculum conceptual framework. So, Sullivan in 2016 stated that there are two approaches to determining or developing an organizational framework for nursing curriculum. So, faculty members may choose a single specific nursing theory or model on which to build the framework, or they may choose a more eclectic approach, selecting concepts from multiple theories or models. So, she explained that the use of a single theory to develop the conceptual framework helps by providing a single image with a defined vocabulary that is shared by both the learner and the teacher. So, Newman in 2008 agreed and wrote that using nursing models as the framework for baccalaureate nursing education would assist with identification of the essential knowledge of the discipline and strengthen the purposefulness of nursing knowledge in education and practice. So, when a single theory is used as a framework, the faculty will adopt and perhaps adapt that theory and use its definitions and relationships to structure and organize content. So, several articles in the nursing literature describe that the use of nursing theories as the basis for the curriculum framework of nursing programs. So, in one example, Birbiglia in 2011 provided a detailed explanation of how RM self-care deficit theory or SCDT can be used as the conceptual framework in BSN programs. So, also focusing in RM's SCDT, so the Secrest in 2008 described the process of tool of tool development in an ORM-based curriculum. So, and the role of faculty in bringing a curriculum revision to fruition. So, Beckman, Boxley, Harge, and Gaskell in 2012 discussed the processes used by faculty at their nursing program as their program transitioned from an associated degree program to a BSN program using the Newman Systems model as the curricular framework. So that's all, guys. So thank you for watching and listening to my report.
Hello everyone, this is Hannah PAMA, and for today's video, we're going to continue the discussion of conceptual or organizational framework for nursing curriculum. So, let's start.
Components of the curricular conceptual framework. So there are two major areas to be addressed during development of a curriculum framework. The first one is what concepts will be covered in developing curriculum framework. And number two, what will be the structure, ordering, or sequencing for introducing the concepts and delineating the relationships between and among them. So there are two concepts of components of the curricular conceptual framework. The first one is curriculum concepts. Once the conceptual framework for a nursing program is agreed on, the task is to identify the major elements or concepts that will appear and reappear as thread at each level of curriculum, and thus provide the basis for organization and sequencing of content. So most undergraduate nursing conceptual frameworks minimally describe the concepts of health, person, environment, and nursing. So each of the central concepts should be defined, and the linkage between and among the concepts should be explained to unify or interrelate the details. So in addition, process threads or themes are usually present throughout the curriculum. There might include the nursing process, problem solving, interpersonal relationship, and so on. So each of these should also be defined and explained. The next one is curriculum structure or sequencing. The curriculum is designed to provide a sequence of learning experience that will enable students to achieve. Content may be structured or organized based on such variables as location, for example, is hospital, clinics, and etc. Factors to be considered in sequencing the curriculum include consideration of the relationships among the concepts and the sequences in which the content should be ordered so that the organization supports the selected relationship. So, examples of how sequencing in which content is ordered is the next slide. So, this table is the methods for sequencing used in nursing curricula. So, there are bases for sequencing, which is sequencing based on meta-paradigm concepts, sequencing based on the attributes of persons, sequencing based on the relationships of concepts, sequencing based on activities and sequencing based on the complexity. So, there are also 3 levels of it. So, there are beginning level, intermediate levels, and final levels. Patterns of curricular conceptual framework. So there are 2 common patterns of curricular organization in nursing program. The first one is blocking, and the second one is integrating or threading. Blocking. When courses are blocked, content is generally structured around a particular clinical specialty area, client population, or body system. So blocking in this organizational scheme, content can be organized according to its specific practice settings. Example, medical, surgical nursing, mental health nursing, and so on. So Civilian in 2016 explained that blocking has some advantages because it facilitates course assignments and complements faculty expertise. However, there are some concerns. This may impede the student's ability to integrate knowledge and to transfer concepts, information, and expertise across courses. The second one is integrating or threading. Integrating course content is a more conceptual approach curriculum design. So, in the integrating curriculum, faculty members identify concepts considered core to nursing practice and then integrate or thread these concepts throughout the curriculum. So, for example, is nursing theory may use to define concept across the program include lifespan development, nutrition, and pharmacology.
Good day everyone, I am NATHANIEL and I was tasked to report the theory-based teaching strategies. Ay nabilong diri ang dialectic learning, problem-based learning strategies, operational teaching strategies, and logistic teaching strategies. Theory-based teaching strategies. To best meet the learning needs of students all beginnings of the 21st century, nursing educators are encouraged to move beyond reliance on traditional techniques of lecture and reading assignments to incorporate other teaching strategies that are based on sound theoretical principles. Some theoretically based strategies suggested by Barnum 1998 are dialect learning, problem-based learning, operational instruction, and last is logistic teaching. Each of these strategies is presented in this section, along with examples from the nursing literature showing how they have been applied in education. First is the dialectic learning. From the word itself, dialect, so it means lingwahe in Tagalog. Some example of this is Bisaya, Tagalog, English, and etc. Traditional dialect teaching leads students to develop and expand their own thoughts on a given subject. Primarily, thought is use of will is construction of questions. Questioning can lead to demonstration of inconsistencies in or contradiction. The student position. In dialogue, the student moves from a narrow conception of subject matter to broader and more comprehensive understanding that encompasses more events and more complexities. Dialogue often results in self-revelation because the student is required to think through issues while considering answers to complex questions. Application to nursing. Dialectic teaching is used frequently in nursing education. For example, it is commonly used in clinical situation and post-clinical conference. Dialectic teaching has shown to be effective and a great example of clinical post-conference. And in other example, dialectic strategies explain how service learning project use dialogue to develop critical thinking in post-conference and reported on effectiveness and discussion when using a flipped classroom approach rather than a lecture format. We use dialect to communicate. So, and as a nurse is important na sa atong communication on how we communicate to the patient, on how we approach them, and dialectic learning. First is lead students to develop and expand their own thoughts on a given subject, primarily through the use of well-constructed question. Second is shown to be effective as Ironside, described by questioning and dialogue techniques used by nursing faculty, promote critical thinking in nursing students. Third is questioning can lead to demonstration of inconsistencies in or contradiction to the student's position. And fourth is the student moves from narrow conception of subject matter to a broader and more comprehensive understanding that encompasses more events and more complexities. Next is it is commonly used in clinical situation and post-clinical conference. And last one is online discussion provide an environment for dialectic learning. Next is the problem-based learning strategies. Problem-based learning strategies involve the use of predefined clinical situation and case studies to enhance or stimulate students to acquire specific skills, knowledge, and abilities. Simulated clients may be used, or the student might be given a real problem in an actual clinical case. The objective of PBL is to determine how to manage the person's care. Application to nursing. PBL techniques are commonly used in nursing education. For example, explore the effects of PBL on an interprofessional course looking at the independence of nurses and pharmacists. Determine that the PBL activities allow the students the opportunity to explore professional independence while mastering fact-based content. In another example is use PBL activities in teaching mental health nursing students, including the PHL should be considered as an alternative to the usual didactic teaching process. Finally, found that PBL-based learning activities enhance the beginning nursing students' readiness for critical thinking.
So this is the PBL process. First is present problem. Next is students define the problem and brainstorm ideas based on prior knowledge. Next is students engage in independent study. Next is students share information, engage in peer teaching, and work towards a solution. Next is students present their solution and review what they have learned. And last is students engage in self-peer and tutor review of the process.
So, problem-based learning or PBL is a teaching strategy during which students are trying to solve a problem or a set of problems unfamiliar to them. PBL is underpinned by constructivist approach as it promotes active learning. Activities are carried out with a groups of students, typically in a tutorial or seminar setting. And PBL can improve nurses' education by teaching them how to apply theory to clinical practice and develop their problem-solving skills. Next is the operational teaching strategies. Operational teaching strategies focus on presenting various perspectives regarding to an agent or issue. A symposium that uses speakers with different perspectives on the same subject matter or debate is an example. Other operational strategies focus on providing different or typical activities for the learner, using educational games or reviewing non-medical videos for illustration is considered to be of operational teaching activities. We all know that in our generation is advanced sa technology and mostly currently we use technology to learn, to teach. Example is we do online class and we make educational video to watch na lang and learn on them. And in application in nursing is many nursing faculty use operational teaching techniques to make learning more interesting and enjoyable. Mo to nagahimo sila og mga lain-lain na mga para lang ilang ipaabot sa mga students on how para interesting na ma-learn. Example is kanang maghimo sila games or etc. na different perspective on a particular topic. Use of games to enhance student decision making, critical thinking, and teamwork as described by Stanley and Latimer. In other example, use games and humor along with case studies to improve nursing student outcomes in pharmacology course. Similarly, a group led by Dave Black, Merrill, Kunzeman, William, and Hart use serious games as one strategy for teaching students in an online community health nursing course. Use of movie, films, and television as method to engage nursing students was described by several nursing educators. So mautos, some educators nag-use sila o lain-lain strategies to make the learning interesting and dili siya boring. Some of them is nagamit na sila og games, films, ipaagay nila sa films para po ganahan maminaw itong mga learners. And last is the logistic teaching strategies. Logistic teaching strategies are based on the concept of mastery of sequential learning. Logistics teaching techniques generally divide the material to be learned into learning sequence where application of one section of the material is a necessary prerequisite to acquisition of another component. Logistic strategies teach the student clearly defined components and provide for reinforcement and testing of each component as program progress and section of the material and added to related each other knowledge and accumulate. Formative teaching is a logistic teaching strategy because a course is consisting of separate and definite units as tests are constructed to measure attainment of each unit. Other strategies include use self-instructional modules and portfolios. These are typically logistic in nature because they follow pattern of assembling information that is built on previously explained material. Application to nursing. Logistic or sequential teaching is common in nursing curricula has been effective because course lists are sequenced and must be passed and objective outcomes met before students can progress to the next course or level. Example from recent nursing literature include by a work of Wasef, Riza, Markyag, Warden, and Dishansi, which describe as mechanism in which graduate students were required to maintain the periodically submit electronic portfolios to document academic progress. Also, describing how portfolio can be used effectively as summative assessment for nursing student progression, where an use of modules to promote learning was described in several situations. Examples include using modular format to teach ethics and undergraduate BSN students, graduate students about complementary and alternative therapies, and disaster management for public health nurses.
Hello guys, I am Ira, and for today's video we're going to talk about the use of technology in nursing education. As technology in nursing and medicine has developed, so has technology's role in nursing education. The use of mobile technology in nursing gives students and working nurses instant access to drug references, diagnosis, medical textbooks, and more using apps and online guides on smartphones and tablets. Plus, mobile technology is highly valued and used in healthcare settings. One article notes that healthcare professionals use smartphones and tablets most often to achieve better staff coordination and improve patient communication and gain easier access to electronic health records. The use of technology-based distance learning methods such as the internet and interactive video conferencing has become widespread in nursing programs. A lot of learning methods has been implemented just like the interactive video conferencing. So when we say interactive video conferencing, it means two-way, real-time transmission of audio and video signals between devices or computers at two or more locations. This learning method also can provide real-time interaction between the students and the instructor. Just like, as far as the advantages of video conferencing, time and cost savings are important. With telemedicine video conferencing, there is no need for a doctor to travel back and forth to the patient's location to see them in the ER or inpatient unit, or even the regular healthcare practice. With the patient, they can receive care in the comfort of their own home. This means doing away with the travel cost, which in turn reduces the overall cost of healthcare for patients and providers. Over time, video conferencing along with the secure forms of messaging have gradually become a more reliable and efficient way to communicate with patients. Many hospitals have purchased expensive patient portal software that allowed patients to email back and forth with their providers. Next, there are three main types of technology-based educational methods that are available to nursing educators. First, we have the interactive distance learning. In the picture shown below, you can see the example of it. It is use of two-way video and audio broadcast carried over telephone lines. This technology called synchronous with delivery. It requires the teacher and the student and the students be available to each other simultaneously. And these days, internet courses with interactive video classrooms are now broadcast from colleges and universities to which students in widely dispersed geographic locations to participate. Another interactive distance learning technique uses virtual classrooms that are available to students who have internet carriers. Aside from interactive distance learning that includes the use of two-way video and audio broadcast carried over telephone lines, we also have this learning technique uses virtual classrooms that are available just like Zoom and mostly Google Meet for students who have internet access. For the third type of technology-based educational methods, finally, we have the computer-based virtual reality. It allows students under the guidance of the nursing educator. A digital world that was developed decades ago but has come into its own in recent years. This is because only now is the technology small enough, powerful enough, and affordable enough to reach the mainstream. For those reasons, virtual reality is now starting to get used in education, especially in medical courses. Just like in the picture given below, you can see the example of virtual reality. But what is virtual reality? It is a computer-based system that uses software, screens on each eye, and interactive controls to allow a person to enter a virtual or digital world. It can be achieved using tablets and smartphones with a screen as the virtual world. But this is a less immersive way and often applies to augmented rather than virtual reality. Virtual reality or VR also represents a new media platform that can allow for a more immersive way for students to learn. But importantly, it can also be an option to offer greater opportunities and experiences to all students. Familiarity with both synchronous or real-time access and asynchronous or delayed access technology, it makes it possible to use multiple teaching strategies. In synchronous technology, it allows students to have personal contact with the instructor with immediate feedback, similar to face-to-face instruction, although the depth of the discussion may suffer. For example of synchronous technology, we have video conferencing, chat rooms, and real-time online classrooms. Synchronous methods, as I mentioned earlier, such as video conferencing, it offers slightly more traditional teaching than strict reliance on internet delivery, as the instructor is seen and heard, and through multiple media, it can present a broad and diverse lecture format. Next, we have the asynchronous technology. It permits students to fit to learning into their busy lifestyle. Asynchronous methods allow students to answer in greater depth because they have time to consider an answer. Examples of asynchronous technology, we have telecommunication. The clarity of transmission is critical when communicating using devices such as radio or telephone. It requires the data being exchanged to be processed by both parties in phase with each other, according to a shared rate. When this is done using a centralized clock, it is asynchronous transmission. Here is what I've explained earlier about virtual reality. This method is one of the most useful in practice training in medical field. VRS or virtual reality simulation, it is the use of 3D objects to create an artificial environment that enhance one's learning experience. The use of interactive environments and scenarios aim to impact the user's knowledge by incorporating real-life experiences. With the help of today's advanced 3D technology, we can create all sorts of situations and scenarios suiting to our needs. In medical field or in medical practice, it is an innovation in clinical skills education and often employs use of high-fidelity human patient simulator And as you can see in the pictures, some of these computerized mannequins produce motion and sound that allows realistic situations as students practice assessing, planning, and carrying out interventions. The faculty pre-program the simulator with clinical situations to allow students to practice skills in a patient-safe environment. And last, we have what we call the high-fidelity patient simulation. It is the closest thing to virtual reality currently being widely used in education, nursing education. High-fidelity simulation typically consists of a mannequin and the apparatus within. Several current models simulate patients of all ages, providing students with the opportunities to assess heart, lung, and bowel sounds and initiate interventions to deal with multiple situations and patient responses. And it is a scenario that reproduces an actual patient scenario to a high level of realism inclusive of physical, environmental, psychological, and other components. And high fidelity simulation, it is a nursing practice that is used by students to improve their professional skills and experience. This method makes it possible for future nurses to assess and implement particular treatment techniques with the help of fake patients. And that is all for my report, and I hope you learned something from this vlog. Thank you guys. Bye. Bye-bye.
Hello everyone, I am RUFIN and I am one of the teammates of Group 4 Theoretical Foundation of Nursing Finals. And in this vlog, I will be the one to summarize the use of technology in nursing education and of course, the issue in technology-based teaching. As we all know that the role of nurses in teaching technology, it is that nurses are the key personnel in introducing, implementing, and using technology in clinical practices such as understanding and acting upon the result of patient-related sensors and of course monitoring equipment in addition to the effective use of the electronic patient records. And my perception in the use of technology in nursing education is that it shows the collaborative learning in digital learning environments enhance nursing students, such as having a knowledge, skills, and of course the competences. And to sum up, it is very important to have or using technology in nursing education because the educational and clinical health environments requires that nurse practitioners must or use IT to communicate, study, and of course to work. And IT is of course, it is often used for daily allocation rosters, automated patient appointments, and lastly, the forecasting workload and staffing requirements. So it is very important that nurse practitioners must use IT or either have the knowledge on how to use applying technologies. And I think that would be all, and I hope that you will gain something or you will learn something from our topics pertaining to this vlog reporting. And of course, in behalf of my teammates, we would like to say thank you for this opportunity, for letting us share our knowledge about these topics and to discuss these assigned topics. Thank you.